What's up, and welcome back to another episode. Today, joining the show, we have current Clemson quarterback Hunter Helms joining the show. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you, man?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Just kind of dive right into it. I want to go back to high school, and you obviously put together an amazing career at Great Collegiate. I mean, your last season there, you put up nearly 4,000 yards, 48 touchdowns. But what did it mean? What did it mean to play there and play at Gray?
Yeah, I mean, it's an unbelievable school. The academics are like far beyond any other school around the area. But other than that, like the sports life, it like made me better. Just being able to go there and the coaches there. It's just a pretty good place for anyone to go that if they want to get better at sports and obviously get a great education as well. But just going to Gray, I found some friends that helped me along the way just to push me and definitely made some lifelong friends there. I just really enjoyed all 4 years there and had a good career. I was blessed to have a good career in football and, just kind of took it day by day when I was there and learned as much as I could from my coaches.
Yeah, definitely. There's a couple, great games you played there, but one I want to talk about in particular. I don't know if you'll want to talk about it as much, but I heard that when you were there, you played Wando, and you had an incredible game. You went 34 for 35, I believe, and you're talking all this smack, but you ended up throwing an interception. That was your one incompletion, and you lost the game to Drew's team and whatnot. But
Oh yeah, that was Oceanside. Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, what was that like?
Yeah, no, it was a fun game. We fought hard and they were a great team, and we knew it was kind of like our rival game or whatnot. So, just a little more on that you wanted to win the game, and great competition. And, we kept driving and we were scoring and they were scoring. And that pick, I'll never forget it. I mean, we were right there. We were going on the score, win the game. I think it was about 5, maybe 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And my wide receiver was coming across the middle and I dumped it to him. It hit him right here. It just tipped off his hands, and tips are picks, man. So it was unfortunate that happened, but I'll take the blame for that one. If I'd have just put it right here, maybe it would have caught it instead of like right here. But it's all right though. I mean, I had fun. It was a great game, and Drew talked a lot of smack that game, my cousin, and it was a good time.
I bet it was a family rivalry right there. But with recruitment, you committed to Holy Cross in 2019, and then a couple months later you ended up decommitting. So why did you decide to commit there and then ultimately decommit and like open up your recruitment process again?
Yeah, Holy Cross was a great school, and I was blessed to be offered by them. And my father and I took a trip up there, and I really enjoyed it. I had an official, and my mom and I went back for my official, and it was a great time. And I was kind of young, a little immature, I guess, and just I was wild about just official visit, rolling out the red carpet, and like, oh, this is how every day is going to be. And they were just on the last day, they were kind of like, hey, we have this other guy, but we really want you. And at that time, I was like, well, I mean, should I solidify a spot? And it was kind of like we came back home. They wanted me to commit there on the spot. And I was like, just give me a day. And came back home and talked to my family. And at the time, I thought that was the best thing. And I love Holy Cross. I mean, Coach Chesney up there, doing an unbelievable job. I believe they just won the conference this past year. But, it's kind of like they wanted me to do it there because they had a guy that if I wasn't going to commit, like they wanted to go get it. And taking a few, like after committing to Clemson and like a year goes by, like it was kind of like they're kind of like pushing me to commit, and knowing that now, like I'm glad I came to Clemson. Right. However, I still enjoyed Holy Cross, and they're a great school. Obviously, academics are absurd there, And Coach Chesney, like I said, just doing an unbelievable job, and I have all respect for him. And Coach Murphy, the quarterback coach that was there, I believe he's at Rhode Island now. But yeah, that's kind of how it went down. Um, and I mean, just getting to Clemson, I was blessed to have that opportunity to kind of be able to come here.
Definitely. And you obviously mentioned Clemson. That's where you go. That's where you decided to choose. But what I read was you were deciding between two preferred walk-on spots, which one being Clemson, obviously, and then the other being Michigan. So why did you decide to choose Clemson over Michigan? And was it an easy decision for you to make?
Um, didn't really talk to Michigan as much. Maybe a few letters here and there. But the real decision was between South Florida, a scholarship to South Florida, and PWO to Clemson. I was blessed to have other opportunities to earn scholarships at other places. But when it came down to it, those last few days, I just kind of told all the other schools, like, I really appreciate you recruiting me and all that type of stuff. But this is the places that I'm gonna choose from. So I want to do that so they could go ahead and, go look for other people, and not just to keep recruiting me. And I didn't want to waste their time, and I just wanted to be respectful in that way. But when it came down to it, yeah, it was South Florida and Clemson, and kind of the same deal. Just me and my family just really talked about it, and I kind of gambled on myself. Just kept praying, and I just believed that I was going to earn a scholarship, and extremely blessed to be able to do that this past year, I guess. But just kind of gambling on my work ethic and who I know I am. It's kind of what it came down to, and obviously Clemson being my dream school was a huge play factor in that decision.
Definitely. Yeah, you bringing up earning a scholarship. You got it in December of last year. But what was that whole moment like for you? Like telling your family, like I'm on full ride, I'm on scholarship.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that I've dreamed of, making that phone call for years now. I mean, it's just a blessing from God. That's all it really is. I mean, it was during fall camp. We were on the practice field this past fall camp, and Coach Swinney called me over and kind of put his arm around me. He goes, "Hey, I'm gonna give a few guys scholarships today." And, in my head, I'm like, "Oh, is today the day?" He was like, "There's some older guys, and they deserve it." And I was like, "Yes, sir, they deserve it for sure." And he's like, "I'm gonna put you on in January." And like, I mean, I went through the practice and like didn't want to really think about it, but after practice, it kind of was like, wow, like that really just happened. So that phone call was pretty cool to call my family and um, let them know that we didn't have to pay anymore. Because I mean, as much as I do, I mean, college ain't cheap, man. So, but it was a pretty cool thing to do.
Yeah, definitely. So you came to Clemson. You grew up a Clemson fan. Your mom was a Clemson fan, I believe, and I think it said your dad was a South Carolina fan, but you are from Columbia.
Yeah.
So was it a little weird being the guy who's a star quarterback, at Gray in Columbia, going to Clemson?
It was more kind of strange to see my dad in orange, to be honest. To be honest, because growing up, I mean, he was a like crazy big Gamecock fan,
Mhm.
and I mean, I went to so many Carolina games, and growing up, I was Carolina Clemson. Like I wasn't just one fan. Um, to be honest, I was kind of, I guess, biased. Whoever was having a better year, I was their fan. But it was a pretty cool experience to be able to see my family, like on my dad's side, kind of cheer me on for Clemson. And like you said, being in Columbia, uh, I thought that played a part in like my decision, but it kind of didn't as much because I mean I talked to South Carolina after my sophomore year and a little into my junior year, I think, and it was actually some serious conversations there with their quarterback coach at the time. He's not there as of right now anymore, and like I mean I was excited, talking to my home kind of school, like maybe being able to stay closer to home. And it just didn't work out. And God always has a plan, man. And, being able to come to Clemson. I mean, I've said it numerous times now, which is a tremendous blessing. But it was a cool decision being in Columbia and saying I'm going to Clemson, and like the majority of the crowd is Carolina fans, and but they were all happy for me, and always wished the best for me.
Yeah, I mean, interestingly enough, your quarterback coach, I guess your trainer Perry Orth, he was a South Carolina quarterback as well. But how did he help you with the whole process? I remember he kind of encouraged you to like say, if you want to go to Clemson, you go to Clemson. Like, don't worry about the competition. But what was he like throughout it all too?
Yeah, God, man, Perry means so much to me. He's done so much for me, just teaching me so much stuff, and just the sit downs that we'd have either at his house talking about defenses or at his office. Just and all the countless hours that we trained on the field stuff too. So I mean, from that very first day that he had that camp, one of his first camps, when I think it was about like maybe 10 or 12 guys out there, to now he's like having like probably hundreds of people at his camps now and all across the state. I mean, I think he has a few different states with people that are helping with the QB1 athletics, and he's doing a phenomenal job, and I'm very blessed to have Perry Orth in my life. He means a lot to me, and he's helped me tremendous along the way.
Yeah, definitely. I want to go back to, you mentioned Clemson, South Florida. You were deciding between the two. Ended up going to Clemson. But a former teammate of yours, Omar Dollison, went to South Florida. Obviously, Jeff Scott was a former OC at Clemson, went to South Florida. So you said you were deciding between them, but was the decision like a lot harder than what most people thought it was? Like, wanted to go to Clemson over them?
Yeah, so it was a pretty tough decision, but it kind of it's kind of the first time I'm saying this. It kind of just kind of happened on its own. I was actually on my official visit to Clemson. It was like, I think that's Sunday morning, like the last day of my official visit. I get a call from Coach Scott, and he was like, because I had planned, we already had everything planned to take an official visit the next weekend to South Florida. And I was going to make my decision a few days after that. I went to both places, and he called me. He was like, "Hey man, we just got to commit at the quarterback spot." And as soon as he said that, I obviously knew, and I wasn't mad. I wasn't discouraged. I was kind of happy for him that he got his guy, and I have nothing but respect for Coach Scott, and he's doing a tremendous job of building that program down there, and it just kind of played out itself. I was like, okay, appreciate you letting me know, Coach, and that morning I committed to Clemson in Coach Swinney's office, and the rest is history. I'm here now, and I'm just having the best time of my life, and I love it every day.
And that in that moment when you received that call from Coach Scott, like, what did you feel? Did you feel relief? Did you feel like anxious? Like, what was going through your mind when that happened?
I guess I kind of did feel a little bit that sensation of relief, man. Kind of thinking back on it, I haven't thought about it probably since it happened. Yeah, it was kind of like God was just telling me, like, this is where you need to be. This is where you're going. And true and behold, here I am. And like I just said, I love it.
And the rest is history. The rest is history for sure. But when you came to Clemson, your first year was a little out of the ordinary, right? COVID was happening, everything was crazy. Like, no one knew what was happening. They couldn't tell if the sky was blue. Like, it was crazy. But what was that first year like for you, going through it all and joining this team with so much uncertainty happening?
Yeah, it was definitely a crazy year. As you know, with COVID and everything, and it was weird, but it was kind of cool seeing the stadiums either being empty or like having like limited seats. Obviously you always prefer a full stadium, but like it was like that weird coolness type thing. Like, it was like either nobody in the stadium, and you're playing a college football game. And but that whole year itself was just so weird and just so out of the ordinary. We had to do like testing all the time. Um, I mean, I remember just getting those things stuck up my nose like almost every week, and uh, but the experience itself was cool, and being able to learn from Trevor for that 1 year was, I mean, just huge for my progression as a quarterback. And some of the things that he told me then, I mean, I still use and take to this day. But that experience was kind of like once in a lifetime, being able to learn from a guy like that. But the whole year itself was pretty neat because it was my first year in college. I'm just this freshman that's just happy-go-lucky and just having a good time.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned Trevor. I was watching a video, and it was in 2019, and I don't know if you were just saying to say it, but they asked you like, who's your favorite all-time NFL or college player, and you mentioned Tom Brady first. Obviously, it makes sense, and then that next being Trevor Lawrence. That 2019 year, it was just like first year, and he was obviously incredible, or second year, but like, what did it mean to be in the same quarterback room with him and other talented quarterbacks?
Yeah, I mean, the room itself, and we had DJ, Tyson. I mean, the room itself was just crazy. But just being with Trevor for that year, I just my biggest thing for that year was just to learn as much as I possibly could from this dude. It got to a point where like the first few days you're like, oh, dang, this is Trevor Lawrence. And then it gets to the point where like, your teammates. I mean, you're training together, you're working out together, all this stuff, and like he'd be watching film sometimes in there alone, and like I'd go sneak in there just like to go like pick his brain, like what are you looking at, like what are you seeing? Because I mean, with a guy like that, like, he's been there, done it, So, and everybody has a dream of being able to do the things that he's done, and just getting to learn just a little bit from him was huge for me, like I said, and it was a really cool experience. I would have to say.
Obviously, you played your first snaps. I guess I believe it was against the Citadel, but the real game that everyone always talks about and like kind of putting your name out there was against Georgia Tech. I know a lot of people probably brought that up to you. The media was probably talking to you a lot about that too. But you had 2 touchdowns, 74 yards. What did it mean to go out there and like actually play the game and just go out there and play college football?
Yeah, I mean, it's a position that I've been in the past few seasons. I mean, you practice a lot, and those small opportunities that you get to go in, I mean, it's a blessing, and you want to take full advantage of it every single snap. So, I mean, that was just kind of my thing when I went in there. I mean, it was kind of like the perfect day. I mean, there was like no cloud in the sky. I mean, it was a sunny day, it was beautiful weather. I mean, we're beating this team, and we're just having a good time, and I get to go in and I go, here we go. Let's do this thing. Let's rock and roll. And it just after play, just kind of kept developing. And like after a few plays, I was like, oh, we're making a drive here. Let's keep this thing going. You don't want to stall out. And I was blessed enough to lead the offense down and score. And that wouldn't have been possible without the playmakers that we have on the team, that make me look a lot better than I am. But it was a fun day. It was like, I mean, just really cool experience, and looking forward to having another one of those this year.
Yeah, definitely. There's more to come for sure. But mentioning COVID year, you ran down the hill for the first time when there was COVID, when there were, there's still 18,000, 20,000 people in the stands.
Yeah.
But now when you run down the hill, there's packed stadium, over 80,000 people there. But did you get the same goosebumps the first time you did as you do, without the COVID happening and everyone there?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've said this in an interview before, but that first time running down the hill was probably more nerve-wracking than going into the game. I mean, it's just so many things that can go wrong, man. You can trip, you can ball, but I mean, it's so cool to be able to do that every week when we're playing at home, and I mean, a dream come true. I've been going to Clemson games I mean, since I don't even remember, like since I was probably like a baby,
Mhm.
um, touching Howard's Rock and as a fan and little kid, like standing up there and looking out and like dreaming of doing that and then being able to do that as a real Clemson Tiger. I mean, it's just a dream come true every Saturday that we play there. But yeah, that first time, man, I'll tell you what, I mean, me and that some of the other new guys that came in with me, I mean, we're just like, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. But it goes by quick, but you definitely try to embrace the few seconds that you're running down that hill.
Definitely. The whole bus ride around the stadium is always exciting right there too. But I'm always curious. Like, yeah, like I feel like someone's gonna roll their ankle going down the hill or something like that's gonna happen.
I think a kicker maybe a few years back kind of like tore some in his knee or something. I don't know. I don't know how factual that is, but I'm pretty sure that happened.
Well, if that happened to a kicker, that's not a good thing right there because kickers they need their knees, they need their legs. Um,
Sure did.
but your first year, you were part of the playoff experience. Going to it, preparing for it, getting ready for it. How much different was preparing for a playoff game compared to like a regular season game?
Yes, definitely the stakes are higher, but I mean, it's the same thing every week. Like Coach says, I mean, we're playing Clemson every week. Doesn't matter the opponent. Um, if we change the way that we prepared by who we're playing, I mean, that's just not how it's supposed to be. Like we're in the wrong. We got to prepare like we're playing for the national championship every week. And then when that does happen, I mean, we're used to it. We've been preparing this way the whole year. And stuff like that. But for that year, I mean, with COVID, it was kind of strange because it was basically just like another away game. Because with the bowl week, the bowl season, we're normally there all week before the game, and that's what happened this past year at the Cheez It Bowl. But going to New Orleans for the Sugar Bowl, we were only there, I think, maybe a day or two before the game, so it was basically just kind of like a normal away game. Um, I remember it was New Year's Eve, I believe, because it was me and Tyson. We were roommates, and like we were looking out the window, and there's just fireworks going off everywhere. But it was still a very cool experience. Being able to go to the huge dome in New Orleans and being able to just like be on that playoff stage was extremely cool, and looking forward to being back this year.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned the Cheez It Bowl, and this season you had 10 wins this year. It was an incredible year. But from a lot of people I've been hearing from either I've talked to them or just seeing on Twitter, people said how much fun this past season was. But like, how much fun truly was it to see like all the adversity you guys had and be able to overcome it?
It was really cool to see our not only our physical toughness but our mental toughness this past year. Being able to overcome a lot of the adversity that we had. And it's something that not everybody on the outside gets to see, and maybe that they don't really understand as much. But we were a team, and we had each other's back this year, and we definitely have that in this coming up year, probably even more than last year. And just the camaraderie that we had, and just encouraging everyone, and just fighting
Mhm.
was extremely cool to see this past year. And definitely earned everything that we got happened to us, and good and bad. But just we're learning off of that, and we had a really good spring, and just gonna keep progressing. But the Cheez It Bowl wise, I mean, I'll speak on that real quick. It was just a really cool experience. Orlando, I didn't know how cool Orlando was. I think that might have been like my first time really going to Orlando, not like Disney World, But it was a really cool city. We practiced at the high school. I forgot what it's called, but we would bus there. We stayed in a huge place, like some nice resort hotel, and it was really fun. We had fun. Like we'd go sit in the hot tub at nights down by the pool. It was just really relaxing. But I mean, there was still a job that you had to do. So couldn't have too much fun, but we had a lot of fun. But then after the game, we had a good bit of fun as well. So it was really fun.
Yeah, definitely got to make the most of it. I remember I talked to Jordan McFadden a little bit ago, and he was telling me about the locker room celebration, how crazy, how much fun that was. I remember when I was actually in the press conference room and I could hear the music playing, and I heard, like, Meek Mill, and I heard the song. It was a great day to be alive. I'm ready to see you guys play that every Thursday
Yeah.
on practice. But like, how much fun was that celebration? Just like going and like completing the win and really just truly like remembering the season.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was just cool to be able to like have that moment with my brothers and like coaches and stuff. And it was really cool for Coach Streeter and Coach Wes Goodwin. Just kind of them showing everybody that, like, we can do this.
Mm.
And just in that locker room, we were just celebrated, not only that game, but it was kind of like the whole year. Like we finished this year off. We won 10 wins. We had 10 wins. I believe that's the 11th year in a row. So it's a huge accomplishment, and to a lot of people, it's like that was a bad year, but I mean that was a really good year for us, like as a team. Obviously, that's not where we want to be, but it was like we said a little bit ago. I mean, just the year itself was the adversity was crazy, and the way that we handled it was very cool to see. But in the locker room, I mean, it was a great celebration. We had fun. It was kind of like a like we did it, and we won 10 wins and won the bowl game, and that's what you want to do. You want to end, like, one of our goals is win the closer, no matter if that's the national championship, the Cheez It Bowl, no matter what it is. So we got that goal done.
Yeah, definitely. And, you touched on Streeter, being it was his first game as the OC right there. And it was great to see him celebrate. But you've known him before. He was a quarterback coach, or, a little bit of passing game coordinator. But what was it like just having that relationship already built with him? He was under the microscope by the media the whole time, but you kind of knew who he was. So like, what's he like as a person, but how happy did it make you to see him have success?
Yeah, Coach Streeter and I have a great relationship. And being able to see him get the OC job was really cool, and all of us in the quarterback room was so happy for him. And he's doing a phenomenal job with it, not only at the bowl game, but this spring and leading up to the season. But for us to see him, with a smile on his face, getting that kind of first win as the real OC, it was a really cool experience, and just that pure joy and happiness that he had, kind of came towards us. But I mean, obviously we were all happy. We just won the ball game, but being able to see him that happy and just that smile on his face was pretty cool, and we were all happy for him.
Definitely. Bringing up the spring, obviously the spring practice is important. You had the spring game just now, but what have you been trying to work on, like on yourself, trying to get better as a quarterback?
Yeah, I mean everything. That's easy to say. But if I had to narrow it down to a few things, it'd definitely be like kind of the decision making stuff. I mean, just you always want to get better at your decision making, because it can never be too good, And it's kind of like everything. I mean, just you can never stop working on like your footwork, like your film work, your like your progression, your reads, and all that type of stuff, and your protections. Being able to flip the O-line, the protections. Slide this way, all types of stuff. There's all things you gotta see and do like before the snap, and being able to get better at that, I think, would excel my game. It's in a good spot right now, but I just want to take it to that next level, and and being able to know just what everybody doing, and being able to kind of command, which I'm doing a really good job at right now, but just being able to take it to that next level is what I want to do, and be a better, more vocal leader, and I did that this spring, and but like I keep saying, man, I just want to keep getting better at that, and along with everything else, and I think if I do my part, it's kind of like a given, man. If I do my part, and he does his part, and he does his part, and when that all comes together, it's going to be something special, man.
From what you've been saying, from what I've heard, from high school to now to first year at Clemson, you have an incredible work ethic. I mean, I remember I even read in like high school, you're going to school like 2-3 hours early just to watch film, game plan, and whatnot. But how did you kind of establish that work ethic? At a fairly young age.
Yeah, I really don't know, man. I mean, kind of just, I think I was just blessed to have it. I mean, I remember working, I'd be like 8 or 9, watching like football motivational videos, doing push-ups in the living room. Um, I don't know. It just kind of came out of nowhere. I think having such big dreams, I was fortunate to be able to know that that doesn't come without hard work. And my family instilled that in me, I guess, at an early age. So I guess that's where it came from. But I pride myself on my work ethic, and it's gotten me to where I am, and hopefully to more and bigger and better things in the future. But yeah, I mean, it's funny just rethinking that those days, like in the living room doing push-ups and stuff.
You can never start too young. I mean, everyone wants to do some push-ups watching those motivational speeches. So I mean, I always see like on like Instagram or on TV, it's like 2 a.m. You're watching those, you're watching your favorite quarterback, and
Yeah.
like, I got to get on the grind. But everyone's done it. Everyone's been there, done that for sure. But I saw that you also have like a merchandise, like, give them hell, I believe is what it's called. What kind of inspired you to want to make it, but have that slogan and stuff?
Yeah, so my last name's Helms, so it's like give them Helms. So
Mhm.
like you said, I mean, it's kind of played off of that, but it was just kind of like a funny little thing that we thought people would like, and it's been a pretty good hit for myself and my brand. But yeah, I was fortunate to be able to partner with someone and get a little merchandise and be able to have some business inquiries and being able to do some of the stuff with the NIL. I don't do too much because I don't want to take the focus off of the main thing,
Mhm.
which is obviously school and football. But it is pretty cool to be able to do a little bit of stuff and make a little money here and there. But just it's pretty fun to be able to do that and have an opportunity to be able to do that for sure.
Definitely. So I have a couple more questions for you, but my first one being, obviously have to ask, you're around Coach Swinney. What's it like being around him? How is he as a person? Any crazy stories or funny things he's ever said to you or whatnot?
He calls me Helmsy, um, Helmsy, and he's the best, one of the best motivators probably on the planet. Obviously, one of the best coaches to ever coach football. Anybody can tell you that. And just being able to learn from him and just watch how he coaches and handles not only himself but the whole team. He has such a high standard for himself, and that kind of carries off to the team and kind of pushes us to be great, kind of like him. Extremely blessed to have him in my life and just to be able to learn from him, and um, very appreciative for everything that he's done for me thus far and for things to come.
Definitely. My last question I have for you, you mentioned it a little bit ago too when you're talking about your clothing brand, but academics. You are obviously, you pride yourself on obviously football and academics. You're a CSM major, which is no easy task for sure. But I even saw a couple of days ago you won, you won an award for like Clemson Academic Player of the Week or something, along with Adam Randall. But what's it like to have to manage that with football? But also, like, why do you pride yourself on, yes, the football field, but also what you do outside of it?
Yeah, so it's kind of just how I was raised. I mean, my mom was a teacher for 30 years. And you just don't want to have bad grades. I mean, I'm trying to put it in a way that like I mean, yeah, you just don't want to have bad grades, man. And it's tough sometimes, and like it's kind of like a competition a little bit, I guess. Like you want to have that A, and like when other people like kind of slouch them down, like you want to have those good grades. And I just pride myself on. It just goes on back to my work ethic, being able to study and And I won't lie. I mean, I had a few tough first semesters at Clemson, and fortunate to be able to be picking it up this year. I believe I have a 3.4 right now with this semester, and we have an unbelievable staff and so much help in the Neary Academic Center at in the West End Zone at the stadium, and my academic advisor. Catherine just does an amazing job, just keeping me on my P's and Q's, and so does the coaches. I mean, they're hands on and like in making sure that we have good grades. Like if our grades are starting to slip, like our academic advisor will let them know, and then they'll talk to us and be like, hey, like what's going on? Like what's going on with this and that? Like they're very caring, and just the whole program itself with the academic staff and the coaches. They just want you to obviously always have good grades, but easier said than done for sure.
One last story I want to touch on real quick is I remember reading it. Your mom, I guess when you went to visit Holy Cross one time, you went with her, and after the visit, you were supposed to take a flight to go to Charlotte for a 7-on-7, and flight got canceled. You ended up having to drive there through the night to go play. But what was that like?
Yeah, so that is funny that you bring that up. That's probably a top 5 story of mine that's happened so far. And so yeah, we were coming back from my official. It's just me and my mom, and I think we might be in like so we flew from Boston to DC, I believe, and then DC to Columbia. And I was gonna get there like probably that night at like 10, and just have to be at the school at 6. I mean that's light work in the morning, and you hop on the bus to go to the 7-on-7. But it kept getting delayed in DC, and I was like, oh crap, here we go. Kept getting delayed. Then it got canceled. And as soon as it got canceled, my heart just dropped. And the first thing that came to my mind is, where are the rental cars? And I was like, Mom, we got to get there. And she kind of knew the same thing. We're like, yeah, we got to get you there. So I like look, and then I see the sign, and I just book it in the middle of the airport. And I'm just full sprint, because I figured everybody was going to go get a rental car because they want to get back to wherever they're going, or just to another airport or something. I don't know. So, and let alone the other couple thousand passengers that are in the airport that might want one. Anyways, I run all the way to the airport, or to the rental car place throughout the airport. I mean, it was like probably 5 or 6 minutes just straight booking it. And I finally get one. They're like, we have one car left. And obviously when they say that, like, they can just give you any price and just run it up. And we're just like, I mean, we got to get there. So we got the car, and she drives all throughout the night. I mean, I might have been 7, I don't know how long, 7 hours, maybe 8 hours, I don't know. But yeah, I'm sleeping, and my mom was a trooper that day. And as we're starting to take off, I call my high school coach, Brett Bethune, and or I texted him. I was like, hey, you want to do a Black Ops mission? Because he was gonna have to break in my house and get my cleats and my my shirt and all that type of stuff. And he had to pack a bag for me because we were staying up in Charlotte. And I still don't know how to this day, because I guess I was telling him that it kept getting delayed. So I guess he figured it got canceled when I said, hey, you want to do a Black Ops mission? He was like, what do I need to grab? And I thought that was so funny. I started laughing. And not to have the story going too long, but lo and behold, he got in my house, he packed my bag, he grabbed my stuff, and my mom drove throughout the night. And we met my team at the field at like 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, that morning, directly from the airport. I don't know how my mom did it, but she did. She was a trooper. I love her to death. But that's a pretty cool story.
Yeah,
That's funny you bring.
I mean, hey, moms are the best. They'll do anything and everything for you. It's that's crazy to see. That's a great story for sure. I had to bring it up. I had to.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. But Hunter, if you have any final statements you want to make before we wrap it up.
No, man. I mean, I appreciate you having me on. It was a great time. A lot of good stories and some memories there. But like I said, I appreciate your time and thank you for having me on.